Welcome to the Raj Kotecha Show, #1 podcast in Dubai. And of course, it's a special episode of ALGO, a lot going on, our wrap-up of the week. Joining me as always, fresh from waking up deep inside Chris Brown's body, is Alex.
What's up?
Yes, it's good to have you on the show. No Vic this week, unfortunately, he's on holiday.
Yeah.
But it's also another unfortunate week in the sense that we've got some sad stuff to talk about. So if you're looking on the screen right now, you'll be able to see all of our talking points. You'll also see them in our show notes. We're going to get straight into it today because it's something we need to talk about, and obviously probably better to get it out of the way at the beginning, way before we do out and about in Dubai. Unfortunately, this week, Maya, who many of you have seen on the show and many of you have visited at my home, passed away. And it was an extremely sad time. On Tuesday evening, we were working here at the house. And over the last couple of weeks, her kidneys have become more swollen. Her ability to walk and climb has deteriorated a lot. She's a Persian cat. She was, we're guessing, 17 years old. She was adopted as a distressed animal. And yeah, like, you know, Persian cats do have typically hereditary issues when it comes to some sort of polycystic things that happen on top of the kidneys. And it got the better of her. She's had a lot of treatment. Alex and I have actually administered intravenous on her, or tried to, many times, just to get more water into her body to circumvent her kidneys, as we were instructed by her vets. And we've, you know, she spent a lot of time at the vets and been quite sick, but it looks like it came together pretty quickly, and it was really sad. On Tuesday night when we dropped her off, we had a couple of options. I took the option of hospitalizing her, and then the next morning I got a call at 7:10 saying, hey, her vitals aren't looking good. You should probably come in and we should have a conversation about her quality of life. So I did go in. I saw her in a kennel. She seemed cool, to be honest. Kind of played with my brain a little bit. She was lying down. She definitely couldn't stand up. She had IV put in one of her legs. And then we were told that this is the decision you're going to probably have to make. They said we might be able to inject some red blood cells the way that athletes get. But then I got a call back from another vet, a more senior vet, saying, listen, she wouldn't even survive those red blood cells doing what they need to do because they take a few days. So we really feel like it's time to let her go and be merciful. So what's really interesting about this whole process is, have you ever put a pet down? You've had pets, right?
No.
You've got two cats at the moment.
Two cats at the moment, but that's it.
But never had to, like, obviously, not had to put them down. But it's a crazy thing. Like, there's a logic behind it. And me as a non-pet guy, I actually didn't know any of this stuff. So I want to give a massive shout out to everybody who has pets, who kind of coached me and comforted me during this time. But basically what happens is when an animal's going to go, it seems like it kind of nests. It prepares itself for its transition. And so I was really shocked. I was like, when I took her to the vets, I was like, she can walk and she can do stuff. She's definitely not going to like win any Olympic medals, but she's able-bodied, it seemed. And the next morning she was just lying on her side, and that was a wrap. So I was like, well, how did this happen? If I'd not brought her, like, surely we could have avoided this. And they were like, look, they're not going to display the behavior of passing when they're at home because they're in their natural environment. So they're just doing what they're doing. They've got their routines. They kind of imagine themselves in the wild, and they've got their like defenses, as it were. But when she came here, when she went to the vets, that's when she settled into it and she kind of prepared herself for passing. And then another thing that's kind of messed up, and I'm saying all this for people that are new pet owners or hopefully you never find yourself in this situation, but once the passing is inevitable, you've then got a couple of options. If that animal was to pass away in the wild, it would just find a tree or somewhere and settle, and then it would go, and it'll wait for a heart attack or something like that. Obviously her kidneys were failing, so we know with humans, when your kidneys fail, then something else fails, and something else fails, and eventually you have a shutdown. And they told me that can take 6 to 8 hours, and it's really uncomfortable. Really? We were lucky that we didn't really see her meowing in pain or anything like that. She seemed super chill.
That's good.
And then off she went. We shout out to Sheena, a very dear family friend who came along and sat with us, and a massive shout out to everybody who came on the Zoom call that spent a lot of time with her, my family. And they were all just, kind of upset and crying naturally. And then we kind of you know, I had to let her go. And I was there, and I was like stroking her and like making sure that she was super comfortable. We had like a little candle burning, and she was on the verge of going to sleep before the injection passed in. By the way, the injection looks like something from a Marvel comic. It's like bright green.
Really?
Yeah, there's no like mistaking it for something that's not like a poison, not poison, but like a strong anesthetic. You know what I mean? So so then, you know, I was holding her head and her heart, and then it went in, and they said normally it takes 20 to 30 seconds to do what it needs to do. In her case, it was about 2, and the vet said, look, she was ready to go. Like, she would have gone to sleep and passed. So you literally you could see her eyes closing, like she was going to sleep anyway before the injection was put in. So the timing was just right. And I did try to, all of the people that kind of like spent time with her here, I did try to reach out to people on an individual basis after it happened. But I really feel like the amount of people that know her and the amount of people that showed her mad love on Instagram and stuff like that, this is the first way they're going to find out. So I'm sorry about that, because it's very sad. And she had a lot of love. And what was interesting about that cat as well, happened with me, happened with Vic and a few others, is that when you first, if you're not an animal person, when you first meet an animal, you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
But she was like a puppy in a cat's body, and she was very, very friendly, as you know. Keen to sit on you if you'd let her.
Yeah, always. Even I remember the first times we'd come, when we were working on this table, she would just get up, chill with us.
Yeah.
It was good.
Sit by the laptop, get some heat off your laptop.
Yeah, exactly.
She had no issue in terms of walking in front of the camera when I'm on a Zoom call or anything like that. And she was just an amazing cat. And the timeline with her is that about 8 years ago, my sister brought her home. She had definitely some medical issues. She was mistreated by her previous owner. My sister took care of all that. Had her for 3 to 4 years. And then me and my former girlfriend had her, and she lived with us for, you know, a couple of years. And then once my former girlfriend moved back at the beginning of COVID to be with her mum, then literally I was locked down with the cat. There was no like, oh, you feed her or you look after her or drop her off here, drop her off there. We were stuck in the house. And it was at that point where I was like, I realized that you can't actually like, I always liked her, you know, like it was cool. But then, you know, when you realize like, okay, I'm watching Netflix, she's come to sit next to you. Maybe she's taking some heat off your body or something like that. So it's like, it's a weird thing, because you kind of, the Venn diagram with your love for an animal is like, it's a little bit like a child because it's dependent on you, but then it's also giving you the kind of love that you don't get from people, because it's kind of agendaless. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have an agenda, which is food.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Do you know what I mean? It's not as if they're trying to do a deal or, you know, work on a brand or something. It's like, they're kind of innocent and selfless in that sense. So yeah, really awful. And, you know, the day of, I was really upset, super upset, a lot of tears, a lot of thinking like, what could I have done to prolong her life longer? A lot of, even there was one point where I texted my sister and brother-in-law who are in Bali right now. My sister used to obviously have her before, and I was like, I think if I take her out the vets for a couple more days, I think I can nurse her back to life. And I started having all these kind of like wild thoughts. But what I did do, which I will give myself credit for, which is ultra smart, is they said, you know, you can come down 15 minutes earlier if you want, say your goodbyes. And I was like, no, I want to come down an hour early. And then I rang back straight away and said an hour and a half. And then I just wasn't able to concentrate or focus at home.
Yeah.
So then I went 2.5 hours early. And it was at that point that I spent time with her. I cradled her. I noticed that her arms and legs were straight. Cats don't normally chill with their arms and legs straight. So I was like, okay, her motor function is going. She couldn't really be stood up as such. And her joints were very, very loose. Almost like, kind of felt like some of her like joints were kind of like broken, but they weren't. But because she could still grip me, and so I kind of made peace with the fact that there's not going to be a quality of life after this, and then we got it done. So yeah, man, sorry to everybody who's found out. There's a lot of people that would come over. I think my boy Kish was the last guest that she had, and definitely my girl Rita last weekend before we went out, or 2 weekends ago. They came and showed her mad love, but so many people have been to the house. People add coming to my house as part of their trip to Dubai to come and meet Maya, because she was ultra cute. We know during this whole bit we'll put up some pictures here
for
and
sure.
there, you know what I mean? But she had the tendencies of a puppy. She was very, very loving, very, very cool with like being close up and being cuddled and whatnot. And she, at times, there was a period of time during COVID where, you know, if you just put your arm out, she would like put her head under your hand and just stroke herself. Like she would just rub her head under your hand. So really terrible, man. Really an awful time. So we have to think about a way of sending her off. Maybe a Maya jam. Maybe we have a Maya party.
Should.
Get some mugs made.
Yeah.
Get some merch made and just like celebrate.
Right?
Yeah, real sad. So the hardest week I've had in a long time. I've had, 3 or 4 significantly close family members pass away. No one from the immediate family, thank God, but very, very close. And weirdly, this was like harder than all that. It was even more painful, like excruciatingly. So I remember like feeling like my body was on fire in the day.
Really?
As I was like, oh my God, I've got this many hours left. And then after it happened, my body was just very numb. So yeah, and I realized as well, I was like, she's going at 5:30, but she's here now. And it really snapped me into the present. And I was like, even if I just cradle her for 2.5 hours, then that's time in the present. And it was at that time in the present that I actually got to understand where her body was and where it could and couldn't go. And also I got a whole bunch of time with the vet that had actually suggested that she go. And that vet had a different energy to the vet that we'd been working with. She was a little bit more senior and a little bit more concise in the way that she communicated. She wasn't unprofessional at all. She was just very used to this, and was much more clear about what should happen next. And that kind of is a bit difficult to hear on the phone. But then she was so kind because she then came and sat with me for 10 minutes whilst I was with her and really broke it down.
That's
like
good.
in a same way, but I think just having more time to talk to her and more back and forth, and us being, me, her, and the cat being together, kind of helped me come, make terms with it. So, so I want to give an early shout out to Dr. Guy Benyon, who spent a lot of time with her, and the whole team at Sakim Veterinary Centre. There was so many people that showed her love, and she was popular there.
Yeah.
All cats, I think.
Yeah,
all
I think
animals are
all
popular.
animals, yeah.
When vets see them and when veterinary staff see them, but yeah, she was popular. She had a way of like snatching your heart away. You see the way that like even the other day, like Vic said, like, oh, she's not really messing with me anymore. Because she's getting a little bit older and a little bit iller, and her personality was starting to become a bit more conservative. But it was at that time that it felt like she heard him, and she went and sat next to his laptop, and yes, that's all we say. So rest in peace to Maya. Amazing cat, taught me a lot. Definitely like took out some of my rough edges. I'd say people say when they come to Dubai, they were like, you've softened up. They were like, they think this life and the views and all that softens you up. But I actually think having a cat softened me up, took some of the G element away. So so shout out to her. And when she did pass, like I said, she was falling asleep anyway. It happened very, very quickly. Definitely felt like it was painless. A couple of hiccups after she went. They say she might pulse a little bit. She did like 5 or 6 of them, so she kept the show going, which was pretty cool and interesting. And she passed away with her tongue out. So everybody knows Maya knows, oh, I love a cute little tongue. And so she kept it consistent. And then I closed her eyes, we said our prayers, and off we went. And just in the last 24 hours since she's been gone, I normally have like 2 towels on rotation. Because of like gym and walking and all that, you shower twice a day. Yeah. So I always have this. I have this one towel that for the last week or so, I'm like, yeah, it's time to throw this towel in the wash and put another second towel in place. I'm like, I think this is the one I've been using after I like have a workout or whatever, a workout shower. But when you've burnt some calories and you've showered, you're still kind of hot. Your body's still kind of emitting a certain type of energy or like heat or perspiration. So I was like, oh man. And just yesterday I was like, oh, this is the towel. I'm like, I'm absolutely going to put it in the wash now, because it felt like it'd been 3-4 days too long. And then I was like, do I really smell this bad? And then I was like, and I smelled the towel. I was like, it's her urine. So
really?
Yeah, she's peed on the towel. And I've been patting myself down with it for over a week after showering. So if I'm wondering why everyone's found me repulsive for the last week, I now know, aside from other cats. No, I'm not joking. So there was that. And also the other night, which was probably our last night having meaningful time together, I do feel like I could have done a better job in terms of like, caring for her. But you can only care as much as your capacity allows while still being able to like go out and pay the bills and whatnot. But like, I feel like there was a lot of times in the last few months where I know that she needed time and she wanted attention. I was at the house a lot. So even though I needed to sleep, sometimes I'd be in bed and then I'd just come back out here, throw my head on that pillow, and just lie down, because I know that she liked to climb on my chest and lie next to me. And the other day we were recording the Will Smith episode, and so I had a black hoodie on that day. Yeah. So I took the black hoodie off because it was too heavy, and I had nothing on underneath the hoodie. I was just lying topless on the couch, and she obviously jumped onto the couch and then tried to jump on me. And when she tried to jump on me, because her strength wasn't as good, like she wasn't even able to get into a cat litter box sometimes. It took her a bit of gripping to get hold of me and climb up onto my chest. And she's actually left like a huge cut under my pec.
Really?
So that was a nice little farewell present as well. So, dabbing, drying myself down with her dry urine, and a scar under my heart. So, well, literally here. So, so that's it, man. What else to say?
Tough, right?
Yeah, very tough indeed. And for anybody who wants to wants to just say what's up or whatever, you can do. I'm on DMs. I'm sure that once this goes out, a lot of people will hit me up. So thanks in advance for everybody who's done that, and thank you so much to everybody who was like there the day of, the day after. Everything has been. A lot of people have been very supportive. I'm not an animal person. I received a lot of coaching and good guidance on that, so I'm super grateful. Too many names to mention, and let's move on to lighter things. She's not on the episode today. I'm sure she'd have jumped on the table if she did, because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. It is a week where we've had a lot going on. So what's up next?
Up next is Out and About in Dubai, and first is MAZZI and PAVAN event last weekend.
So we wrapped the show last weekend, and then in the evening we wrapped ALGO last week on Friday. And in the evening we went to the album launch of LDNYCDXB.
No.
It is.
LDNYC.
That's what I just said.
No, you said the YC, I think. You missed the N. But it's fine. Same.
LDNYC.
Oh. Fair. Yeah, my bad.
It's going to be a tough life for you, bro. Yeah. It's going to be you're going to really need to hit the gym and work on these looks if that's...
Come on, man.
So LDNYC. So it's an album launch party, and it was over in... God knows what part of Dubai, like the north somewhere.
Near the airport.
In a super kind of grimy venue that you'd get in London or New York. Actually, I get it now. I understand now why they chose that venue. Great. So it was organized by both the artists themselves. So Pavan, who is one half of Foreign Beggars, unfortunately the other half has passed away recently. And then my dear friend MAZZI, who's been on the show, who is, I've always known he can rap and I've always heard his records, but what was interesting is it was the first time seeing MAZZI perform live. I saw Pavan perform solo at SHOUTOUTS.
Okay.
Or he may have been part of Foreign Beggars, but I just remember him being incredible. He's one of the best MCs on the planet, and that's a lot to say considering how many great MCs there are out there. But just considering that he's just like water, he can just adapt to whatever music's being played, small crowd, big crowd. I mean, I remember and weirdly, because me and Pavan became friends after his rap career. He's still a rapper, of course, and a musician, but there was a time in the early 2000s where he was huge rapper. Yeah,
that's
he's
sick.
a massive rapper, respected, award-winning media coverage. I never knew what Foreign Beggars was when I was growing up, but I just knew that you'd always hear their name when huge UK rap acts were mentioned, and he was just so dope. And then actually it was their first time performing together.
Okay.
And you can see some footage on the screen right now. Let's just run a bit of clip.
Yeah.
So on the audio version, you'd heard some of that fun. On video version, you'd have seen some of the clips. And man, it was just an incredible show. And there was a bunch of brilliant people there. They collaborated with Tamer Ali, who's a local music industry guy, and he did a great job putting this event together and hosting it. Let me give a shout out to some of the people that I met there as well on the night. So, my friend Eric Brunez was in the house, who's a music producer, moved to the UK. He was here when I first moved to the country. So it was great to see him. Shout out to Aaron and Lukey from The Recipe, and Presidente was on the turntables. Didn't get a chance to say what's up to him, but shout out to him. And our friends Rav and Amrita. And So Amrita is DJ Rav, who came on here.
Yes.
His little sister.
Oh.
She's a stylist, yeah. And she styled on some of his videos.
Yeah,
and Rav is her husband. He's a cool cat as well. So we got a chance to kick it a little bit on the night. And a really good party. Now, of course, I can speak about this as much as I want, but for you...
I thought it was sick. Even my friend Nick, we both said it was a dope night. Because we went in there not knowing what to expect because, I mean, I had never heard any of the artists performing their music, and neither did my friend Nick, and it was kind of like just walk in there and just feel the vibe and see how it goes. But it was overall amazing night.
Yeah, what you saw that night was two incredible MCs.
Like, yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, there was a point where they had this young kid from Manchester come on, and for some reason or another, his backing track was not playing. There was an issue with the USB. And what was incredible is that Pavan and MAZZI, whose show it was, who were meant to headline, they went on early.
Yeah, early.
And just started freestyling over beats, just to keep the energy up.
Yeah.
And what was incredible about that, and it just shows the craftsmanship and the showmanship, is that at the end of when they were doing it and they were ready to hand over back to this young rapper who was the opener, they said, Pavan goes, sorry, that was my fault, as in our fault. We should have checked the USB, but here it is. And what he didn't do is he didn't let this moment deflate the room so that this poor young guy's got to come on and take the room from a minus upwards. Because Presidente is a great DJ. He was DJing, so he took it to the place where the opening act was supposed to come on. But when these issues happened, it went down a little bit. Pavan took it up here and really gave this young kid a good starting place.
It was sick.
And MAZZI was incredible as well. And then and what you see from MAZZI as well is you got two different things. From Pavan, you saw like the MC. Like throw on whatever beat and we'll just chew it up. Like it was like proper like hard ass like London style rapper. And then with MAZZI you saw like the dancing, the breaking. You know, there's a bit. There's this. My favorite bit of the night was when MAZZI was like dancing and he flicked the hat by mistake off his head, and then Pavan picked it up, put it on his head and took his hat off and put it on MAZZI's head, which was a true like London, Dubai, NYC. Like it was that moment epitomized it. And also what was really funny as well is that there was this other moment where, you know, they were talking about the fact that it was their first time performing together and they'd known each other. They'd see each other in different cities around the world and say what's up to each other. And then there was a point where I tried to like reintroduce them at Soul.
We're at Soul EXB, yeah? And Raj Kotecha introduced us like 3 times. We're like, bro, we know each other, you get me? This don't fuck with me. Anyway, yo. This is the first time me and MAZZI have ever been on stage together, ever. Yeah? He's like, yo, let's do this EP. I'm like, alright, he came to Dubai, we did an EP like a year ago, recorded it, he fucked off. I'm like, alright, cool, we'll do these videos.
So the backstory behind that moment is that MAZZI, I've always known of Pavan. Like people have told me around the city, like you and him should meet and get along, and his brothers are really cool. Shout out to Nicky, his brother, and there was another brother on stage that did a stage dive. It was brilliant. And he said, yo, you guys should meet. So what happened was, I'm the consummate networker and I'm just in default mode when I'm at places like this. We're at Soul DXB. MAZZI introduced me to Pavan. Then MAZZI went off to do what he does. Me and Pavan get to talking. We get along straight away. And then MAZZI comes back. And I didn't realize in that moment, I forgot that MAZZI introduced us. So I'm talking to Pavan and I go, Pavan, have you met MAZZI? And MAZZI goes, I literally just introduced you guys a few minutes ago. So now it's who gets their shit off first. When I see them, I try and introduce them to each other. But as soon as I walked in, you might have seen, Pavan was like, yo, I introduced you to my friend MAZZI. And then MAZZI goes, I introduced you to my friend Pavan. And I was like, you both just, I just got like verbally double teamed at that point, which is cool. It's a nice little in-joke that we've got. So great job to them. Well done indeed. Then, of course, next night was Saturday. I hit up a few bars here and there. And in between, I went over to FemFest. So well done to Megatronic, who's a local artist who put that together. And just popped my head in. I think I probably missed the peak of the night, which
what
is
time
a bit
did
of
you
a shame. Probably around 1.
Okay, pretty late. Yeah.
But, you know, it was nice. And there was a DJ playing. And they emptied out the space at One Oak. No, not One Oak. One Life Cafe.
Where's that? Oh, in
D3.
D3, yeah.
And
we went for breakfast there once.
We did?
Yeah, during downtown Dubai. What was it called? Where we went with for his event there.
Yeah, we did. We went for a meeting there. So great venue, amazing space.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
licensed
sick.
as well. Upstairs there was a whole bunch of space, and I actually went to see my girl Varsha Vin perform, but I super missed it. And then but yeah, it was a cool vibe. So shout out to Sophie from D3, and I also saw Haiku as well,
Okay.
who you met
Yeah.
backstage at Russell's show. Oh, by the way, Russell's announced a show.
Where?
We'll give. It's in it's here for Dubai Comedy Festival.
Oh.
And it is on 12th of May, and it's
Okay.
part of Dubai Comedy Fest. So
Nice.
kind of like head online and find that. I believe the website is dubaicomedyfest.ae or dubaicalendar.com or ticketmaster.ae. Yeah, so Haiku was there, good vibe. Passed through there, then went back to another bar and just kicked it, jammed out for a little while, and then a
So-
bit of an early one that night because I was super exhausted from the night before.
Yeah, the night before was tough.
You
It was
guys,
long.
you actually had a chance where you could actually do the white boy raging thing. Like you were actually able to just like, there was a mosh pit and I could see you was like, I'm home, I need to get in there. Why did you not mosh?
Bro, I'm not about that mosh pit life.
You are, dude.
No, maybe in like when I'm in uni, but not right now.
It's too, you doing a pre-mosh.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe
Yeah.
when I get into it, but not right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a cool vibe, and
It was.
and it was, so well done to them. Superb event, and you absolutely, if they perform together, you should absolutely go see them. And
Yeah,
if you ever
yeah.
see them individually, you should go see them because it was a masterclass in hip hop, like really, really incredible. And then afterwards, they played a whole bunch of drum and bass and grime, and
Yeah.
Pavan kept on just rhyming over beats and
Yeah.
throwing his brother off stage and into a crowd. I've got that clip as well. I need to show it to you. So that was good, but. And then obviously Maya passing derailed the week a little bit, and there wasn't really
Yeah.
much either side of that. But what we did decide to do yesterday.
But wait, I went to Amazonico last
sorry, let's
weekend.
get into Saturday.
Yeah.
Amazonico. So you went for dinner.
Yeah, I went for dinner with my dad and my stepmom and Nick, my friend. And then after that, we decided to go to the rooftop.
Nice rooftop. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a small area, but
Yeah.
super nice.
Yeah.
We got there pretty early, but once it hits like 11:30, 12, like
Pop in.
yeah. Like at some point, like we couldn't even move.
How-
Like full.
How many hobnobs out of 5 would you give it?
4.
Four hobnobs out of 5. You could also split them. You could actually do
Right?
like
4.5.
Is it?
Or 4.5, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, big shout out to Amazonico.
Yeah,
then.
no, it was really sick. Stayed
Yeah.
there till they kicked us out. 3:15.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's where I think that's where your name first got mentioned to me because your dad, and Paula, your stepmom, went there for lunch one day. And then I think that's when they mentioned that you were like around, and I was like, and then I think after that, me and you met.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. So good. Shout out to Amazonico. I've been
Yeah,
there for,
shout
I've
out.
taken clients there for business lunches.
I've
It's
never
cool.
been to their business lunch.
Yeah. I mean, it's very cool. They also have one in
Yeah.
London as well. So that was good. The DJ was good. What was the DJ's name?
DJ's name Stacy.
Stacey what?
Stacy, I don't know her last name.
Are you just going to put a video footage
Yeah,
up on the screen
I'll
now?
put some video
So
footage.
we just now got this hot DJ who's on screen and we don't know a name other than Stacey. Well,
Stacey.
sorry, Stacey. This guy's an intern. He's still not managed to get all of your details, but shout out to her.
I'll
I'm
put
sure
her
she did a great
Instagram
job.
up as well.
Yeah, I'm sure she did a great job.
Yeah,
Very
she
good
did.
indeed. And then, but the big thing of the week, for sure, like I said, either side of the Maya's passing was a bit of a sunken energy. But one thing that we kind of couldn't really let pass was Expo closing party
Yesterday.
last night.
Last night. of
Last
Expo.
night, it was-
after 6 months.
Yeah. So what was interesting is when we put the clip out about Expo on social media,
Yeah.
a lot of people were like, no, it's incredible, you should go. And they kind of
Yeah.
gave me like pre-FOMO. I was like, once it's gone, it's gone. And I
Yeah,
think I'm
it
going to
is.
have like remorse
Of like not going just one last time, you know?
one last time.
Yeah.
Well, not one last time. For me, it was my second time.
True.
And the Indian in me was like, I don't want to waste the money that I spent on the pass. So
You made your money back now, right?
I probably broke even, yeah. So I went last night. It was super rammed, amazing vibes.
Yeah,
Dubai
yeah.
was out in full effect. Every single person in Dubai was at Expo last night.
This is what they wanted.
Yeah.
The vibe yesterday is what they wanted Expo to look like.
Yeah. And honestly, I think if 2020 hadn't rolled out the way that it did, I think that Expo vibe would have happened much quicker.
Yeah, I think
Do you know what I mean?
the hype kind of died down within the like year and a half of
Yeah.
like where it should have been open but wasn't because of COVID.
Yeah. And I think, certain countries could come in, other countries
Mm-hmm.
couldn't. But I'm telling you, man, you never ever bet against Dubai.
Do it
like,
bigger and better than everybody else.
You can't, like, I mean, I've hustled in so many cities, but Dubai is just like,
They're different.
it doesn't matter. Sometimes they win in the 10th and 11th round. Sometimes they win in the first round, but they win. And last night was just incredible vibes. And the city was in such a good place. Plus, we have to remember as well, like, in normal society, there's no crime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? These places where there's large gatherings of people, in Europe there might be festivals or otherwise, are hives for crime.
Yeah.
If you go to like a wireless festival, somebody could take your phone out your bag or anything like that. Or there could be a fight or whatever.
Yeah, anything, yeah.
Last night, got to be tens of thousands of people, if not more. It doesn't matter if you've got your phone up, your bag open. Because we live in a city where there's no crime, you can genuinely go and enjoy yourself. Like, there was basically hardly any... I mean, you see some security and some police moving around.
But that's just also for ease of, like, controlling the crowd.
But that's more like if somebody falls over, at least somebody can come and grab them.
You know, literally.
It wasn't looking for criminals.
No,
it was
not at all.
Dubai is just... I just feel like, you know, it's just hit 50 years old. And on balance, especially if you take the last 24 months worth of data, like anthropologically, how it's rolled out, how it's dealt with things, it's just... We're the best.
Yeah.
This is the best city to be in.
Genuinely, I think so.
Yeah. So highlights from last night. So we got up in there about 5-ish.
Yes. Yeah, 5:30.
Yeah. We walked in there. Vibes were great. We started moving around a little bit. We met our friend Tahir, who was there with his son Kabir. Kabir's a cool little cat.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed talking to him. 10-year-olds are just next level in it. Like, how many shoes can you put in it? Like, it's just
like questions that like you
just
don't
this
think
empty
of.
vessel. They just ask these kind of questions. So I was like, yes, we were just jamming with him and just having a cool ass time, and we had a great time. And then obviously we went to so shout out to Omo, who we spent a bit of time talking to. She really let me know what the joy level was with Expo. She said that she was recently in Sri Lanka, which is a beautiful country, looking out on the water, being like, I'd rather be at Expo. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, and she finished all of the pavilions 8 weeks ago, so end of January. And she goes, I didn't just like walk through and get my stamp. She goes, I took notes. I was looking for investment opportunities. I was like, you're perfect. It's like candidate to go check out Expo. And then shout out to my man, Andre. It was just so nice to see him. Like, I'm putting a picture up on here right now, but if there's any of my Manchester crew, and you'd have to go all the way back to like almost day one, but definitely year 1.5 of me hustling, this guy was around. And it was just so nice to see him out and about, chilling. We're in the African food hall. And big shout out to him. We should get him on the show one day.
Yeah, we should.
Because if you really want to know what Manchester was like in the 90s and the world that we came up in, especially as promoters and like hustlers, he'll tell you without me even prompting. Do you know what I mean? So so definitely shout out to him. And then we bounced around a few places. A lot of places were booked, naturally.
Fully booked, literally.
Yeah, fully
and
booked.
A lot of them were pre-booking. So, like, you couldn't get in unless you had pre-booked because they knew there was going to be so many people there.
Yeah, exactly. And then our man Sal was over in one of the pavilions, and we found out that Chile was doing a night. So we went to the Chile pavilion, and it was just like, they were like, it's an 80s and 90s night on the screen. Yeah. So I was like, all right, dope, let's go. And we got there, and it was just literally like a Sony speaker that you get from like the electrical store, not even playing 80s and 90s music. Super lame. So then we moved, and just at that point, Christina Aguilera was coming on. Tiesto was going to headline after her. Shout out to DJ Bliss. He was there as well last night. I didn't catch the performance, but Sal did and said it was incredible. So when he went off, Sal went off to check out Bliss's performance. We randomly stumbled into a Greek restaurant.
Yeah, Greek.
What was it called?
I don't know, but it was rooftop of the Greek pavilion.
Yeah, rooftop of the Greek. What was it? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was incredible. And that place was like
vibes.
Literally
you walked in and it was crazy.
Electric. Yeah, the DJ was playing like a whole bunch of like commercial music. He played some records way too many times, but whatever. That's all good. And it was just vibes galore. And there was a whole bunch of like super hot people in there, more towards your age.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
saw your eyes were like popping out of your head.
I think it's like I mentioned, there's a lot of people who are working at Expo throughout the 6 months, and since it was their last day, they were like, gotta go crazy.
Yeah, they really...
Because it's like, dude, you end up becoming like a mini family. You're working there for 6 months straight. You're probably within the same like group of people.
Yeah.
You're basically a mini family, and they're all just like vibing.
I think that would happen to you as well. You're at the right age.
Right?
You should apply to be, you know, when there's like a show horse made up of 2 people, you should apply to be the back part. I think that'd be
I could,
have a lot
I
of
could.
life lessons. I think coming off this internship, you being the back half of a show horse, puppet horse would be the move.
I could do it would be dope to do the Japan Expo.
Are they keeping it?
Yeah.
They're keeping Japan.
No. The next expo's in Japan.
Oh, okay.
In 2025. It would be dope to go to Japan.
Japan would, yeah, I mean, yeah. Japan will definitely be wicked. And I think what's interesting as well is that Dubai raised the brand of Expo.
For sure.
Because you went to Milan and you were like, it's trash.
Well, not necessarily trash. It's just like before Dubai, that you had nothing to compare it to. That's the thing. So Milan's was great before Expo Dubai became a thing.
Yeah.
But like now that there has been an Expo in Dubai, you look at Milan and you're like, oh, it's nothing.
Trash.
Yeah.
Trashy Milan Expo.
Well, I mean, like...
Glad I didn't go.
I just went because I was in Switzerland. 3-hour train ride?
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Get some gelato, have a slice of pizza, be out.
Yeah, right? Just went for a day.
Yeah. Did you really?
Yeah, in and out.
Oh, vibes.
Left in the morning, left at night.
Okay. Got you. Well, anyway, from what I hear, it was like, it is what it is. But I think Dubai's just set like a global standard. I think every country participated and it was super dope. So, yeah. So, I mean, it's really, really good.
Every country participated because of Dubai. They paid for the pavilions that didn't have the funding to be there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Super generous. So it was a wicked party in the house. You know, we got to that place. Sal joined us after being in the Christina Aguilera concert. Mm-hmm. Then it was me, Tahir, you, Tahir's son, Kabir. Mm-hmm. And then Mr. Steal Your Girl showed up.
My dad.
Who was just looking super slick.
Yeah.
And basically just sucked all of the oxygen out of the room for any other male because he was just so slick in there that...
It's because he always pulls up in a suit. It's not fair.
Yeah. I was like, everyone thinks that like a French James Bond is like a Swiss James Bond.
The
French-speaking James
Bond.
Right?
Yeah. His name's also Daniel, you know, so it's...
Daniel, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Daniel, Craig, Daniel.
Exactly, yeah. So, boom. So, yeah, so that was good. And then we all just kicked it, vibed out. Yeah. Shout out to Tahir for giving us a lift home. And, yeah, man, just wicked. Really, really good. Lots of, I'm sure during this we'll put up a bunch of footage that we shot. But Expo just did a great job. And, you know, I feel like even though the first time I went, I was like, this isn't really for me. The fact that there was just like a wild amount of parties going on last night around Expo, I'd be like, yeah, if there was a night like that every single weekend.
That's what I was saying. Every week, imagine it was like that. That'd be dope because you have a different vibe of every pavilion, I'm guessing.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy as well? My friend Cardinal performed.
Yeah,
so Cardinal and Starting From Scratch both performed at the Jubilee stage. And I was like, you know, it was a bit hectic and a lot of stuff going on. But actually now I'm like, damn, I wish I could have just gone there and just seen them tear that stage down. Because I saw the footage, but there was some reason that I couldn't go that night for one reason or another. But I think I should have really, really moved hell and high water to go because Cardi's an incredible MC as well. And he just murders anywhere that he goes. He's just big energy. So yeah, that would have been cool. But you know, no regrets. Well, that second night, I got my money's worth out of Expo, and last night was an incredible vibe. And everyone was so well behaved. What was really interesting as well is that as we were leaving, some guy like had a megaphone that worked for Expo, and he was just like hollering.
Really?
Yeah, and he was just like shouting, like being like, you know, if you had a good time at Expo, you know, we love Expo, and everyone was like screaming.
Yeah.
It's like there was a real sense of like national pride.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think, you know, the way that we dealt with the pandemic, the way that we dealt with Expo, the way that we hit 50 years as a country, the way that we're now putting in stuff for like, you know, crypto, corporation tax. You got to find me a better city than Dubai. You have to persuade me. Like, and I never felt that Dubai was in the conversation with the Londons and New Yorks. I absolutely feel like it's earned its way up. And I've been here for a long time. You know, I pay my money to be a resident here. I have a business registered here. I benefit from everything that society gives. But I didn't see it in the big leagues. Now I see it in the big leagues. Like, Dubai has done its damn job.
And they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows they're not stopping.
We're not even been to Museum of the Future.
Yeah, my dad went. Apparently, it's crazy. They show plans for like, I don't know, like 2100. Like they're like who knows if that'll happen in 2100, but they're looking that far into it.
Right, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So amazing job. What else this week on Out and About?
4-piece workshop.
Oh yeah,
that was during the week. But
yeah, that was great. So unfortunately, you and Vic both missed that, but we did so the way that the 4-piece works for anybody who's interested is we do a 8-hour workshop and then we leave you for 10-15 days, or 10 days give or take, and then you come and rejoin us and we do what's called a hangover session where we go over everything that we discussed. We look over the client's notes, we look over our notes, and then we put together like a playbook. So that was incredible. Shout out to our client, who I'm sure is going to be putting out some cool stuff in the next couple of weeks, who came along. And then again, I think I came home, and the next day we were working on the 4Ps.
Yeah.
And it just continues to get better.
Yeah,
every
time you work on it, it gets better.
Yeah, it's incredible. So that's the 4Ps, and really, really incredible. So really excited to get that out there. I expect at some point in the next month, we're going to have at least some modules that we can see with our friends. Plan, produce, publish, promote. Can't go a week without talking about it. And also, little Easter egg, the last bit of food that Maya didn't finish. Very sad. I'm genuinely sad about that. It really messed me up. Okay. Next up, what do we have?
Next, we have news from the week.
Oh, what's the big news of the week?
Yeah, so we'll start off with Will Smith and Chris Rock media fallout.
Okay, so as you know, we did an emergency podcast right after Will and Chris had their incident. And of course, many of you have seen now that Will Smith went up on stage at the Grammys and gave a full open hand slap to Chris Rock. Very out of character, at least the character that we know. The media fallout has continued. It's amazing that a lot of stuff doesn't have a media cycle that's that long. 24, 48 hours. This one still continues to have ripple effects, even though the memes aren't as funny as they were a couple of days ago. There seems to be a continued fallout. The Joe Rogan spoken on it, which was interesting. And there's been a couple of guests that he's bounced the subject off. All of the takes are pretty good takes. Will's issued an apology, which will flash up on the screen right now, both panels. And, it seems to be the case that real or fake, where do you feel like the world's going?
In terms of the event that happened, if it's real or fake,
was it staged or not? You saw the rear angle, didn't you, today?
Yeah, they released a rear angle for everybody who doesn't know, and that's you can see Jada laughing after he screams, "Get your wife's name out of my keep my wife's name out of your mouth." But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was staged.
I don't think it was staged. And if there was any kind of...
I don't think they would have done that. If they staged something, I don't think it would have been that.
I think the optics of violence are not worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like stage something, but not with...
Not also swearing on live TV.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing that to me, like, you don't do that. Just because it's everywhere.
I don't think you need to... so here's a couple of things that have emerged since the time. One, should he get the award taken away from him? He's done the work, and the decision about the award was probably made way before the award show. For sure. So let that man keep his award. I don't think there's any greater punishment than the way that the moment was tarnished and the way that the evening was tarnished. Him winning his first Grammy at 53 years old after over 30 years in the industry will always be that geometrically attached to that moment.
For sure.
So...
yeah, it's up to him. I knew he knew what he was doing at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, maybe he didn't. That's another thing that's another conclusion is that, we've talked about it being this, that, is it right or it's wrong. If we zoom up to the highest level, the man had a mental breakdown.
For sure.
If he didn't mean for it to happen, he had a mental lapse, a mental breakdown. That was, I'm sure there's been many straws on that camel's back, and unfortunately. It only takes one straw. Yeah. And it was a light jab. It was a joke about, hair, and bang, off it goes. So the media fallout continues to be interesting. I do believe that if you look at from the moment it happened and the 30 days that follow, and then maybe the 90 days that follow, 180 days and 365 days, if you look at the impact on culture, I think it will become for the next generation, or maybe actually even for people your age, to be honest. If you're going into media right now, people will be writing dissertations about this in the next academic year. Yes, I'm sure. For sure. Yeah. Full breakdown. Somewhere around the world, for sure. Yeah. Exactly. So but interesting moment, kind of like the whole world turned its attention to that this week. Yeah. And, we've done a full breakdown on it. Oh, by the way, shout out to everybody who messaged us and said that mine and your breakdown of that moment was the best analysis they've heard. I'd have to agree. We're incredibly smart. I think so, yeah. Yeah, so if you've not just called me smart for the first time. Huh? I said we. Yeah, but that includes me being smart. Yeah, we'll look up the word we and see what that means. We'll come back to it. But yeah, so it was an incredible breakdown. I'm very proud of it. I listened to it again, and I was like, yeah, this is super awesome. So if you've not had a chance to hear it, probably one of my content recommendations is go back and listen to the emergency podcast, Raj Kotecha show, where we talk about Will slaps Chris, and we talk about mental health, Hollywood, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Is that it? No, next is my knee. Oh wow! Right? Tell us about your knee. We've touched on it in previous episodes. But tell us the story of Alex's knee.
Yeah, so back in late December, I went to play football with my friends for the first time since we all graduated. And Ali stepped onto the field within 2 minutes. My knee was like so much pain. But obviously, me being the idiot I am, I continued playing for another 2 hours.
That's why we need a definition of we when it comes to smart. That has to be a weighted allowance there. It has to be means tested.
Yeah, so then I went to Switzerland. I wasn't able to ski and anything. And I thought, just like something's wrong. Like if I just don't do any sports or anything, it'll get better in like 2 months, 1 month, 2 months, whatever.
Yeah.
And now we're here. I think went to the doctor a month ago. Got 3 different opinions because the first 2 were different. So it was a bit of a tricky situation. I was like, which one's right?
Can I make a suggestion? To save money on the third opinion, take the first 2 opinions, lock them in a room with a snap pull cue, and just let them figure it out amongst themselves.
Because
like in Batman.
No, but because the second one I went to see, I just off his vibe, as soon as I stepped into office, I was like, oh boy, this one's like, I don't know what he's going to say.
Because he was saying something more extreme, right, in terms of treatment.
Yeah. And also something that would bring a lot of money back to them. That I wouldn't need at like my age,
Yeah.
Like I'm 18, like.
Yeah.
So the decision was that cartilage from my knee went under my knee bone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm basically now there's like a hole. There's like no cartilage at a certain point in my knee, which needs to get fixed. So I have 2 options. Tuesday, they're gonna put a camera into my knee, and either they will take cartilage from lower down in my leg and put it back up, which isn't ideal because I was talking with my aunt who's a doctor, and she was saying that like maybe later on in the future, like taking cartilage out of somewhere could impact me, and then it would be the same issue again. And the second option was they do microfracture, so they'll break it and then it'll like by itself rebuild itself, plus PRP, which is stem cell therapy, basically.
That's really shocking.
Right? It's no fun.
So essentially, based on what you described there, if we imagine what needs to be done to your knee, it's kind of like somebody opening an oyster and shoving Haribo inside. It's like
you could say that if you want.
It needs like a little bit of squishy stuff inside there to kind of
sure.
make it work. Yeah.
But yeah.
Good. So what option are you going to go for? Are you going to get stem cells?
So the doctor, because if the missing piece of cartilage is too big, then they have to take it from somewhere else because PRP and microfracture won't help it.
Yeah.
If it's smaller than a certain size, they can microfracture in PRP. So
okay.
The doctor will put a camera into my knee and decide on the spot. I have no say in what happens.
Okay, so that's basically going to be your content recommendation next week.
Oh, the video? I should upload it to YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun.
No, I watched some videos online. It doesn't look very fun.
Yeah, it looks nasty.
Yeah.
So, good. So, well, good luck with that. So that means
Thank
effectively
you.
it's your last week on ALGO.
No, I'm doing it. I'll do it from Abu Dhabi.
From your hospital bed?
No, I'm only in the hospital for a day.
Okay, cool.
So I'm out of the hospital Wednesday.
Okay, take the USB mic with you.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure out what we do from there. Maybe we'll get you to patch in. Maybe
who knows? I might be like so dead from anesthesia, even 48 hours.
See, that's a good
72
incentive
hours.
for me. Seeing you come out of general anesthetic and have you on the show and just blubber your way through it. Could actually be better, to be fair.
It might fix my brain.
It could be an improvement.
Yeah,
so,
who knows?
So good luck with that, dude. I hope
Yeah.
everything goes well. You're heading off to Abu Dhabi this afternoon.
Yeah.
And then please take a hard drive full of content that needs to be done. I don't know what that is, so text Vic.
Yeah.
And
I mean, even if I don't have it on a hard drive, Dropbox.
Yeah, Dropbox. So we'll get that over to you.
Yeah.
And so yeah, good luck with that. So that
Thank
wraps
you.
everything up for I mean, damn, that is a lot going on this week.
Right?
Considering some of the lows. But
Yeah.
okay, so what
Next
else?
up is content recommendations.
Ooh, yeah. So coming off the back of the Will Smith thing, I would say that I quite enjoyed the breakdown of Flagrant 2.
Mm-hmm.
So our friends Andrew Schultz and Akash Singh, they are just great dudes. You know, that podcast and their breakdown of the moment is not going to be for everybody because they're under no uncertain terms. Do they pull any punches?
Nope.
There's a immediate camaraderie and consolidation around the fact that a comedian, a comic, a working comic, a joke teller was punched, and they don't like that, and they go all out about that. And there is a lot
No chill
at all. And it actually starts with the Andrew Schultz opening monologue, which we will, you can see on the screen right now. We have obviously muted the audio, but it's super worth it.
Yeah.
It's super worth checking out. You don't have to agree with it. I just think that, when we talk about the media fallout of this moment, if you want to know the most extreme response from the media, you'd want to see these guys do it. But my content recommendation...
2 seconds. Just on that, I also think it's important to see a comic opinion on it. Because say Andrew Schultz was saying the same thing happened to him. Someone slapped him when he was on a small stage.
No.
Yeah. And he was like I would have had no reaction as well, but the crowd didn't get to see it because security took the guy before. So you never knew, like the crowd didn't know whether Andrew was gonna act tough or not.
I think the joke he said was like, he goes, the security took him away before he could slap me, before I could do nothing.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, you mean before you could do something? He goes, no, I'd have done nothing.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Andrew's so funny.
Yeah.
Did I tell you the story when I went to New York in '99? So me and him have been, chatting for years on DM. And we had a conversation on the phone when we were out there. We were supposed to get together and have lunch or coffee or something. And then we weren't able to, but he gave me like a couple of tickets to his show and just kept it all the way real. He's a real
That's
cat.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah, and
you should go do his podcast.
Man, I'm not big enough, but good segue because my content recommendation of the week is Gary V on Flagrant 2.
Flagrant 2, yeah.
So our dear friend Gary was over there on the show. He came locked and loaded.
Yeah.
Ready.
He was ready to take everything.
You know what's crazy about Gary V in general? He goes on Hot Wings and he's ready to eat the hottest wings.
Yeah.
He goes on
anything. He's ready
goes on
for
Larry
it.
King and tears up Larry King the way that Larry King's show is meant to be tore up. Not the person Larry King, but he just gave you a great episode of Larry King. Everywhere he goes, he gives you a great version of what the show's meant to be, not his him.
Yeah.
He's not him wherever he goes. He's the version of him that show needs to be great.
Yeah.
Even
for sure.
even on Vayner World, I want you to run the clip here, but he even said like he's going to dig down a little bit deeper to give us the best interview in the UK ever because he knew it would benefit me.
And honestly, I think it comes out of my love for you. I feel like I know that if I do a better job and dig a little deeper and say some new shit here tonight, that lends itself to more people watching on YouTube, which has a chance to help you in some way, and I really like you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
It's like he prepares mentally. I don't know how much time he invests in it, if at all, but he prepares mentally to give the platform the best version of the platform, which is so weird because it's like, talk about like jab, 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 like give. He almost tailors the version that you need of him for that platform so that people go, okay, what was one of the best Larry King interviews? Gary V. What was one of the best Flagrant interviews? Gary V. What was one of the best Hot Wings interviews? Gary V. Like, it's just a very... It's a talent to have. It's also quite cunning as well because you just leave a whole bunch of bodies behind you. You know what I mean? Where you just like murdered each of those shows. So highly recommended. A lot of talk on NFTs.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew and Akash were asking a lot of questions. They were just interested to see. So
yeah, it was interesting watching Gary spar with Andrew and then spar with Akash, slightly different, a bit more merciful on Akash, and then spar with the whole team. So it was very, very fun. And also Gary knows when he's being pulled into something and he knows how to like switch subjects. Actually, if you want to see what it's like, I feel like the Charisma Universities of the world, the YouTube channels are going to start doing breakdowns of how he does what he does because, he's able to like get out of certain arm locks and certain like, you know what I mean? Like head locks and stuff like that. So very, very good interview. Great if you're a Gary V fan, but in general, if you want to know what's going on with NFTs and you want it presented to you in a very non-nerdy way, then that would be my content recommendation of the week. Also, Vic, who gave us this content, at the end of last week's show, also sent over Mark Zuckerberg on Tim Ferriss, who I've not heard yet. I know that the group chat guys were talking about it. I think it might be a little bit on the safe punch side, like it might be a bit of a friendly one, but let's see.
Also, it's not too long. I think
Ferriss normally goes long.
Yeah, but I feel like I was surprised by when I saw how long it was.
How long was it? Somewhere between an hour and 2.
Yeah, that's what I think. Normally he goes up to like 3 hours. So I was a bit surprised, but that's good.
Okay, well I'll definitely be checking that out, and I've also not finished the Lex Friedman one yet. So what I might do is a back-to-back Zuckerberg.
Yeah. I think it should be interesting because you'll get maybe 2 different perspectives because they'll be asking different questions and everything.
in our industry, if we consume 5 hours worth of Zuckerberg and get 3 points out of it, it's completely worth it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you can completely future gaze. And I've been in this industry so long that you just need a couple of deductions to make it worth your while.
Yeah.
What are your content recommendations?
Mine was the Avicii documentary, released back in 2018, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, just amazing documentary about his life.
What's it called? Where is it? And what made you watch it this week?
I think it's Avicii: True Stories. But you can find it online on streaming. I watched it on Swatch Series. It's just some random streaming website.
Okay. Is it on Netflix as well?
No.
Okay.
What made me watch it? I actually was watching Stephen Bartlett and Diplo podcast.
Okay.
Yes,
How is that? Have you seen the full thing?
Yeah.
How is it?
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting. I mean, yeah, because he was, I think, kind of the first big American DJ, like from like America, doing EDM and all of that.
Okay.
And so it's just interesting to see his perspective. And he's like most artists, traveled the whole world, and he speaks about Steven's more of an entrepreneur mindset. So he asks him about like how visiting the world and all the different cultures impacted his music style and all of that.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. Yeah, it's good. So yeah, they started speaking about the Avicii documentary, and then I was like, I'll go watch that after, because I had no clue there was one.
So the Avicii documentary you enjoyed. What were your big takeaways from that? You mentioned that he did levels when he was 21 and sold the record for $500,000.
$500,000, but you have to give respect to his agent for that, because his agent basically kept lying to people. As in, like, he was like, we already have an offer for $500,000. And then the label was like, no, we can't do that. And then they would get back. Even though they didn't have an offer for $500,000, the agent would say it, and then somebody would come and be like, 500,000, we'll match it.
Do you know what the actual offer was?
No idea.
What would you guess, based on watching the documentary?
Dude,
Where do you feel like the natural organic offers were? What we call the market price?
Bro, probably like 50,000. Bro, he didn't have anything released before that. That was his first big hit.
Wow. So I was told this many years ago in business, which is that when you work with an accountant or a lawyer, the way that you price up how you spend on them, because they're expensive people to have around you, is they should effectively cost you nothing. And what I mean by that is that an accountant who is the right accountant for your business and the right kind of cash flow and turnover and business that you have, the accountant should get in, sort your books out, and the amount of money they save you, or the way that they optimize your books, what you pay them is a drop in the water. I say all that to say this, which is that if the market price for Levels by Avicii was $50,000 and his agent got him 500,000, and the agent took, let's say, 20 points, 20%, which is a healthy amount.
Healthy, yeah.
He takes 100K off the top. It's still a net positive for Avicii, who's still getting 8x what he'd have got if he'd just gone to natural market value. So these are those kind of things where I just love it, where I love to hear stories like this, where it's like kind of everybody won from that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And the manager, but now it's a high risk game, because the manager could have been tugging here and there and eventually lost the whole deal.
Yeah, for sure.
You stay in negotiation too long.
Yeah, especially when Avicii was nothing back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's very impressive also to see, as he was so young and blew up so fast. And he wasn't trying to be the greatest DJ. He was just a kid making music and happened to be that. So he actually quit music before he passed. And it was just because he was too stressed and the life just wasn't for him. So yeah, that it's just very interesting, because a lot of DJs, they play the part, but he was on stage saying like I don't want to be there. And even though I said I give respect to his agent and everything, towards the end of his career, it was more like the agents wanted more and more money and didn't want to let him cancel his shows. Wow. Because he had 100 shows planned already, and he was like, I can't do this, I need to stop now. And they just didn't want to let him. The
music industry will kind of squeeze you dry, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
Even when you pass away, and you unrelease music, everything goes to the label.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've seen that. We've seen Prince's estate act kind of crazy
as well.
Yeah,
also XXX and Juice WRLD.
Yeah.
Nothing to... I think XXX, his family didn't get any money from the music.
XXX had a documentary come out, though?
No.
Juice WRLD did?
Juice WRLD did.
When he's landing on the plane and doing all sorts of stuff that you shouldn't be doing.
Very good documentary as well.
Really, eh?
Yeah. I think very deep, though. really, really shows his side of depression, anxiety, and just everything. It was completely raw.
Well, if you're looking for something, then maybe the layup would be Diplo on Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stephen Bartlett, top lad. And then also, you know, for your main course, go with the Avicii documentary.
Yeah.
And if you still got space for dessert, go for the Juice WRLD documentary. And if you're not completely depressed at the end of that, then just look at CCTV footage of Alex in the club last night.
Yes, sir. No.
I was stood behind you and your pops, and I was like, "Oh man, this is a."
Yeah, me and my dad have to go crazy when we go out.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. No, but I'm just saying, man, your dad is a G.
He is.
He really is. He really
he's
is a
legend.
capital G. So okay, cool. What we're to next?
Shoutouts.
Okay, shoutouts. Let's get into it. So, firstly, today is April 1st, which is my brother-in-law's birthday. Shout out to Wes.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah, happy birthday to him.
37 years old and married to my sister. So ups and downs. And then tomorrow is my dad's birthday.
Nice. Happy birthday to him.
Yes, thank you. I will pass that on. Well, I'm sure he'll see it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be 59. No, 69. Yeah.
More accurate. Yeah.
59 is your dad's age. Okay, yeah, cool. So shout out to my dad. And, cool. Like two dudes in our family having a birthday a day apart, which is amazing. And then, as I mentioned before, shout out to Dr. Guy Benyon, who just kind of did really great for Maya in her last few months. Gave her 2 or 3 more shots at life. Because she was in a bad way several times. We actually saw some kind of like distressful things around the house, like accidents and things like that. And so, he definitely managed to give her 2 or 3 more goes at the radio, 2 or 3 more little extra matinee performances. And so shout out to him and the whole team over at Sakim Vet Center. And I wanted to do this. I thought this would be a nice thing to do. I actually wanted to give a shout out to Chris Fade for his wedding. Because I don't know the cat. Obviously, we know he's a fan of the show because we got that like from him. But I feel like the way that he did the rollout of his wedding was really classy. Like
I saw some videos. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you're like the number one media personality in, as I mentioned now, one of the number one markets in the world, Dubai, there would be so many options to like spin it this way, spin it that way, sell it out this way, sell it out that way. Man, he just looked like he just threw a dope-ass wedding.
Yeah, he kept it real.
At the Ritz-Carlton. The theme from right the way through was all about love and family. Very cool IG stream with thousands of people. I feel like it's like 6,000 people on the stream on his IG, which is unheard of for a media celebrity or any brand in this market to get that many people simultaneously. A lot of love. Even right through to like this clip that he posted the other day of like him and his wife returning home with their kids. And the kids were holding the dress, and he was just like, "This is my favorite moment ever." I just feel like, a lot of people like look at someone that size and go, "Oh, there's going to be all sorts of like feelings towards a cat like that." But actually, I feel like when it came down to it, he really set a good example in terms of how to do it, and he just. I wanted to give him a shout out for just in general for getting married and the happiness that comes with it. But I also feel like he handled the rollout of his wedding in terms of to the public in a very, very classy way. So shout out to him. I know for some point we're going to end up like, running into the guy, and I'll tell him to his face. But yeah, really, really well done, that whole thing. It was really masterfully put together. And as a media guy who looks at stuff like that and really analyzes it, I thought, I was like, damn, I'm so glad that he did that, because Chris's face is on everything. Like if a tree falls over in the woods and Chris Fade doesn't announce it, did the tree really fall over? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's that big, but the way he handled that was incredible. So I really like that. And we should have given him a shout out a few weeks ago when it happened. I meant to, it was on the screen, but yeah, big up to him and the whole crew that he rolls with.
Yeah, dope.
What about you? Any shout outs?
No.
You better shout out that doctor that's going to be shoving his finger in your knee.
Yeah. Shout out Sebastian.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Sebastian.
He's from like Argentina or something. Sebastian for English.
He's from Argentina.
Yeah.
He's going to be serving bits of your knee up for dinner.
I hope
they're
not.
They used to like prime meats, my friend. You're gonna be pumping out some bone marrow out of you.
I hope not.
Well, I hope not too. And I certainly wouldn't buy it. And if I did buy it, I'd give it back to you so you could inject
that's
it
so
back
nice.
in.
That's so nice of you.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So no shout outs, not even a shout out for Vic being away.
Yeah, okay. Shout out to Vic, honestly. I
Why?
think he sent some pictures over. It looks like he's having a good time.
It does. It doesn't look like
Mauritius
Russell came at all. No, Mauritius looks
No,
beautiful.
no, it does. I'll put the pictures he sent up.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful.
No, don't. Okay,
Why?
we'll ask him and then we'll decide if we want to put the pictures he sent up.
It's a picture of a beach.
True.
It's not a picture of him at the beach. It's just
you
the
should
beach.
do? When we put a picture of the beach up right now, we should put maybe generic beach underneath. Just like put a star next to it. So that
Yeah, we
we're
should
not
take a
committing to
stock
it.
image and
Yeah.
put it up.
We should just get this like white family just on the beach somewhere. Just be like shout out
Dude,
to
we
Vic and his
should.
family. Yeah, that'd be amazing. And you should have iStock photo right across the middle. That would
Or
be the
Getty
best.
Images.
Yeah, Getty Images. Like completely not licensed. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's do that. That'd be the best. Healthy way to continue. His.
Dude, we also didn't end up having a guest on today.
Yeah. So interestingly, like I mentioned, Jay's in town, Vic's older brother, and my boy Suj is landing this afternoon. Many of you know Suj is the guy that I partnered with on both the Vayner Worlds and a whole bunch of other businesses in terms of I consulted on his group of companies, and then we also did parties together, like the Gherkin parties. That was all instigated by him. So he's in town, but these cats are not around until the afternoon. So I thought best just to get Algo in, and actually having a bunch of cats around when I'm talking about Maya's thing is just not the vibe I was trying to get, because they wouldn't get it. At least me and you were around her all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So we saw the vibe. So I just wanted to kind of like create space for that.
Fair.
But yeah, that's those two. Obviously, Jay is my cousin and Serge is my dog for life. So we might end up doing something. Maybe when you're gone, we'll record something. And yeah, man. So just shout outs to them. Looking forward to hanging out with them and their respective children this weekend, doing kids stuff, whatever kids do.
And then there's also Samer from Ikebaduri.
Oh, yo, shout out to my dog Samer. He's a restaurateur in the city. He owns a very, very popular restaurant called Ikebaduri.
Yeah.
He's had one in D3 for a while. And we
Very
got a lot,
good.
huh?
Very good.
Fire restaurant.
Yeah.
Licensed
Licensed
restaurant.
as well, yeah.
The shtick there, I don't want to give it away, but basically they have Japanese flour with Italian ingredients.
Yeah.
And they put a pizza together that's cooked in 1 minute
Great.
in a furnace that's so big that you could basically hold hands with 10 of your friends and walk in to the gates
it's massive.
of hell.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, my man's not like gypped out on his expenses at all. He's really gone in there, and it's not the cheapest restaurant in the world, but I've taken many people there, and they've been like, "Yo, it's fire." Anyway, reason why I want to give him a shout out is he opened up a restaurant in Saudi, which is cool, but I'm not going to go to Saudi anytime soon. Yeah. In some cool part of
that's
Saudi.
sick.
Yeah.
Do you know where in Riyadh or?
Some part of Saudi, who knows? Could be anywhere. Anywhere outside Business Bay is Saudi, as far as I'm concerned. But the reason I want to give my man a shout out is because there's a new part of Dubai that's opened up. I think it's called Marina Walk or something like that. It's somewhere near Marina and JBR. And he's got an outlet there, a licensed outlet.
Nice.
So I'm definitely going to go down there with some friends and go kick it. But, I feel like, see, the weird thing about D3, right, is that it's like a super destination place. It's not like City Walk where you've got friends that live there. There's not residential there. But
Yeah.
and so therefore, what are the incentives to go to D3 on quiet times? You know what I mean? Like,
True.
there's not as if there's like a community there on weekends. It's weird. For an arts part of the city, it has similar dynamics to the financial district in London. The financial district's empty on the weekends. Well, it certainly was pre-COVID. That's why all the brown people go and do parties there, because all the white people have left. So you have the same thing with D3 at the moment. And I feel like Ikebaduri is one of the places where you do get in your car from another cool place like downtown or the IFC, and you drive over there because that pizza's one of one, and the Japanese beers that they've got are like one of one. So super worth it. And it turns out, again, he's another cat that like mutual friends have always said to me, like, you and him should hang out. He's a cool cat. Turns out we're the same age. Turns out he was a nightlife promoter, and boom. And so about 6 months ago, whatever, we kicked it. I think you were there.
Yeah.
Me and him went for breakfast to Tom and Serge.
Yeah.
And then we just vibe straight away. And then I've been following his Instagram, and he's just been doing fire stuff. So big up to him. I'm just proud of all the entrepreneurs in the city that are doing their thing, and especially when they keep such high quality standards. You feel me? Wicked. So that's my shout outs. Anybody else?
The girl from D3.
Sophie, big up to her. I'll reveal more about her in time.
Okay.
Yeah, good
fair.
vibe, good vibe.
Yeah.
I need to go spend a bit of time with her. But yeah, big up to her as well, and Haiku for introducing us. All right, wicked. So if you enjoyed the show, give us a 5-star rating and review on
Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts.
Oh man, we're gonna need to.
Yo, it's
Can I take some of my stem cells and put them into your knee? Let me take some stem cells from my brain and put them into your knee. 5 stars is only on
Spotify,
5-star rating and review on,
Apple Podcasts.
and then on YouTube, make sure you
Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
and in all platforms, make sure that you share it with anybody who wants to.
Enjoy this podcast.
Which is everybody, because it's the
everybody,
greatest,
yeah.
it's the greatest
Who
podcast.
doesn't enjoy this?
Number 1 podcast in Dubai, and as we found out last night, Dubai is the number 1 city in the world.
So we have the number 1 podcast in the number 1 city in the world.
Yeah, and
Your
we don't even have the most
Respect.
amount of listeners,
Right?
But this is just the best podcast. You know what's weird? It's not as if I'm like an underconfident guy, but I love listening to this podcast. I listen to this podcast all the time. Once you've edited it, I watch it to sign it off.
And then you rewatch it once.
Then
it's
I
out.
rewatch it just to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then I play the audio twice as well, just driving around in the car. It's the best podcast.
Dude, it really is good.
Because you got to think about it. Is there any podcast better than the Raj Kotecha show?
In Dubai? Or worldwide?
Worldwide, we're one of the best, and in Dubai, we're
I'd
the
say
best.
worldwide, I'll give us like top 7.
Should I tell you why I say that? Because some people like F this guy, but I'm saying that based on during COVID year, I listened to, because Spotify told me how many minutes of podcasts I listened to, and I broke that down into working days, and I listened to 62 or 68 equivalent working days
In a year?
in a year, which is the equivalent of,
It's a
I
lot.
believe, 3 months,
3 months.
because there's
2
21 days
Yeah.
in a working
and
month.
You said 60.
So it'd be the same as
working
it'd be the
wise.
same as
Yeah.
going to work for 3 months, working 9 to 5, 9 to 6, and listening to podcasts all day. That's your job.
That's crazy.
So that's what I did in 2020. I know podcasts, and I made one based on what I like, which is this podcast, which is, basically from the first episode became the number 1 podcast in Dubai, which is fair. And yeah, I love it.
I think it's just a really real and raw as well. It's not like we're like trying to be people we're not.
Yeah, and also we're not.
That's not me dissing anyone, by the way, because I don't watch any podcasts from Dubai.
No, but like for example, right? Like there is a lot of pandering brands worldwide.
Yeah,
But like,
everywhere.
just people pander like to stupid people. If you're a stupid guy, you're not going to listen to this podcast. Because we talk real cultural stuff.
Yeah.
And then we talk like, macroeconomic stuff, and we talk like, sometimes we use big words and sometimes we use stupid words, right?
Yeah,
But
you
like,
get all ends of the
yeah,
spectrum.
you get all ends of the spectrum, and it's like, like for example, right? Like today's April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
Right. So I went on Instagram, and by the way, speaking of Chris Fade, he did a good one.
Really?
He created like Fade Fit Fly or something like that,
Fade
and he basically
Fit Fly.
superimposed his logo on the side of a plane.
Oh.
And he was saying that basically I've now got a family friendly airline. The weird thing about that though, and I'll give him his credit, obviously it's a joke and it's corny, but that dude could have his own airline. He's that big in this city that he could do a
he's
collab with
massive
Emirates
in the city.
and he could have like just 3 or 4 A380s. If he hits 10 years on radio or whatever, I don't know, I'm sure he's done more than that already, but like he could have, or if he does 15 years on radio, he could have a fleet of 15 planes for 15 days with his branding on. Like he could just do it. He could just pull it off.
Dude,
Why
that'd
not?
be pretty sick.
Exactly. So anyway, he did that, and that was pretty cool. And then Love in Dubai did one, which was like, I think they changed their name to like Dubai. What was it? Dubai Solutions.
Dubai Solutions.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, great. It's cool, but
All these name changes, they always happen on April Fools.
yeah, they'll have an April Fools. But you know why it happens? If you look in the comments, there's just there's no shortage of stupid people. Like people were in Love in Dubai's comments like, yeah, man, but I really like Love in Dubai. Like,
Yeah.
How can you take the love out? And I'm like,
Dude, it's also because of like people who don't know it's April Fools. Like I completely forgot until I walked in here and you told me.
but you must follow a certain mental model where you're like, hang on a second, why is this? You try and run
Yeah,
you
yeah,
run a
okay,
diagnostic on it. You're
that's
like,
true. But I wouldn't have come to the conclusion of it being April Fool's unless I like remembered that it was April Fool's.
Fair. In some cases, some people don't know it's April Fool's.
Yeah.
But in most cases, honestly, this all comes from inbreeding.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
Yeah, there's some genetic issues somewhere. If you see that and you think, oh, hang on a second, you're like, if you're protesting in the comments,
No, no.
you need to.
I'm not a comment type of person either. I don't just go and comment.
No, but some people
random
like raging
stuff.
in the comments.
Yeah,
Like some, I mean, obviously for Chris's stuff, it was really good. They were like gushing and they were really happy for him, as they should be. That's a great moment, right? But like, some people were like raging and I checked some of the avatars of the people that were raging in the Loving Dubai one, and it was like, that basic ass from Jumeirah, like chick that was doing it. And I was like, oh, this is terrible. And I think it's at that point that if you are that stupid, you should talk to your parents and be like, listen, was there mercury near our house when I was growing up, and did I inhale any of it? Because I
answer's
really feel
probably
like,
yes.
Yeah, the answer's probably yes. And I feel like it's acting as a cognitive inhibitor now as I try and move through life as an adult. Anyway, we've asked you what we need you to do. Spotify, YouTube, gang. And hit us up. Hope you enjoyed the show. Rest in peace to Maya.
Yeah. Rest in peace to her.
Have a wonderful time up there with all of the other pets that
I'm sure
other
she
people
will.
have lost. Yeah, she will. I'm real sad about that.
Yeah.
And peace to everybody, man. I hope you enjoyed the show.